What's going on there, everybody? Welcome back to the topics where we discuss movies, music, art, and etc. Now today, guys, we don't have an anniversary, but today we got something exclusive. Now today, guys, we're going to be discussing the movie, the semi-classic, the only classic, the 70s classic, guys, Taxi Driver, starring Robert De Niro and Jodie Foster, featuring a pimp himself, Harvey Keitel. Now, guys, this movie right here is one of a kind right here. This is a 70s exclusive. This is when Robert De Niro was starting off his career, really young himself. Now, guys, this movie right here is very exclusive because I say that this movie right here is really inspiring to artists myself who have got inspired by this movie, such as Trent Reznor, such as myself. Now, Trent Reznor says that he has watched this movie many times in the making of Downward Spiral and in the making of The Fragile. And he really suggests that this movie right here is really depressing, really hardcore, deals with the battle of somebody who is just on the verge of explosive. On the verge of explosiveness. Now today, guys, we're going to be exploring the movie Taxi Driver. Now, what I love about this movie is Robert De Niro plays a character titled Travis. Now, Travis is a character who's obviously on the verge of trying to get his career, on start, who's trying to do better with his life, who's trying to, get on the right path. He knows the troubles of the world. He's trying to go and accumulate money and things of that nature. But it seems that he is very different. This, Travis character played by Robert De Niro is a really isolated man. He just wants to get a job being a taxi driver. And guys, really, what makes Robert De Niro really iconic in this movie is the fact that he plays this depressing character who's trying to get his life on track, trying to do his thing, trying to, pursue this career being a taxi driver, taking people where they need to be, accumulating money. But as he's in the process of doing that, he is noticing the effects of the world a little bit. There's politicians going on. There's a, presidential academy going on where somebody's running for president. So a lot of politicians going on, a lot of things going on in the world. Travis is noticing the menacing, menacing of the world. He's noticing the dirtiness, the pimpness, the sluttiness going on in the world, and Travis has just honestly had literally enough of what's going on. Now, guys, also what I love about this movie is, again, this is somebody who's trying to go and pursue the good paths of life, somebody who's trying to do better with their life and pursue what's right with them. And again, he's noticing these things and what's going on in the culture, and he's noticing it's wrong. Now, what I love about the character of Travis, now Travis is an iconic character to me and also Trent Reznor, because, guys, Travis is somebody who stands up. He is a character who stands up in the movie, who notices these things, and also, coincidentally, gets a taxi ride from the president himself. Now, the president himself, Robert De Niro, his character Travis, has a conversation with the taxi driver. Travis goes back and forth with the president running an election, and Travis is saying, he's like, what I want better to happen in this world is, just the scum to get, just the scum off the earth, to have this place be, just clean off the streets, the sluttiness, the dirtiness, the griminess, everything that's going wrong in the streets day in and day out. And Travis is noticing these things as a taxi driver. And he brings it to the president's attention, who's running for election. And the president notices, well, he's not president yet, but, he's running for election. But he notices that Travis, has a lot to say about the culture. He has a lot to say about what's on his mind. And even though Travis is very different in this movie, he stands out as being somebody who's a loner, who's very different, who obviously is having a hard time with this love he's trying to score, and things of that nature. Now, guys, he goes back and forth with the nature of this president running for election. And this movie really, guys, just leads to explosiveness. Now, the character of Travis, starts off introducing himself. He's in mid-job interview, running for a taxi driver. And that's where we learn a little bit about Travis himself. He's, in mid-interview, going for a taxi driver, doing his thing. And eventually we learn about this character, about his perspective on love. It seems that Travis really has this, not porn addiction, but he likes to go to the movies and watch these, pornographies. And he takes this girl over there, and it seems that, he kind of scares her away. It seems that's something she's not really into. It seems that she's really altered by Travis' perspective on life and how he feels about things, where he's at in life. And even though he loves this girl really strong, he's really having a hard time really trying to get an understanding from her and have her understand him. Now, guys, Travis eventually meets up with Jodie Foster, played by Iris. And Iris is a character who's very young in this movie, who's unfortunately playing the role of a prostitute. Now, she plays the role of a prostitute that Travis, eventually accumulates a relationship with. Nothing sexual, but they're just accumulating, talking and stuff like that, because Travis overheard and saw the troubles that she was going through. Unfortunately, she's played, she's in control by a pimp, and the pimp is played by Harvey Keitel. Now, this character right here plays really good, guys. If you're familiar with him, he played roles in Pulp Fiction, things of that nature. So he's a really good character of playing, the mafia roles, the pimp-like nature of, of such and such. Now, what I love about Travis in this role is that he notices that Iris, a young Jodie Foster, is being manipulated in this culture that he already despises. He's having a hard time blending in with. He's trying to, to really get back on track. We don't really know much about Travis's background. And so we really just get this bare nature of Travis himself. And he falls for, the girl that, he falls in love with. He oversees this girl working hard in the office and stuff like that. And, people interfere with his perspective on love with her. We get coworkers intervening, things of that nature. But Travis is entitled. He's a loner dude that really just wants to go out and feel loved. And he's picking out the love that he sees. But unfortunately, guys, it's not going well. He tries to take her to the movies. And unfortunately, he kind of throws the girl off because he takes her to a pornography. But Travis just doesn't know any better. He's a character that really just doesn't know how to please this woman. He doesn't know her taste. He doesn't know how to blend in with society. So it's hard for him. And he throws the perspective off really hard for this woman right here. Even though she's a beautiful woman. And but Travis is having a hard time trying to, build a relationship with this woman. Now, eventually, guys, he meets Iris, like I said, who plays a prostitute, played by, the pimp himself, Harvey Keitel. And Robert De Niro's character, Travis, is really trying to get Iris to understand the perspective of life. Like, look, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this to yourself to, gain a buck. And, he's explaining this to her. She's entitled to her opinion. She wants to do what she wants to do. She's young and reckless. She doesn't know any better. She's being manipulated by the society. Who knows her background? We eventually know her background by, it seems that she's grown up with her grandparents and things of that nature, guys. In the end of the movie, we get this speech from her grandparents thanking Travis on, saving her and showing her the beneficial, hopeful side of life and things of that nature, trying to get her off of the prostitution path that she's going on and things of that nature. So Travis, even though labeled as a bad guy, labeled as a trickster, labeled as an outsider, even though this person is labeled as that, he means well. This is a character who's really just noticing the toxicity of the city and what's going on around him. I mean, Travis plays a taxi driver. So he notices these things day in and day out, taking people where they need to be. And even noticing drivers and things of that nature, he picks up, funny enough, he picks up the director, guys, the director of the movie, Martin Scorsese. And he is a director of Taxi Driver, Departed, I mean, all kinds of mafia classics. And with, particularly Taxi Driver being my favorite. Funny enough, guys, I love when a director does a little cameo in the movies where he shows up, does a little bit of, a little role. And then, kind of just, it's fun for the director. I mean, he's probably writing these things feeling like, let me squeeze myself in, play this role. I'm sure it wasn't a character he couldn't find, but maybe it was a character he wanted to play himself. Now, guys, funny enough, Martin Scorsese, director himself, plays a racist taxi pickup pickup from Travis. Now Travis picks up Martin Scorsese, and you know, he is feeling that on the verge of killing this guy who is, you know, cheating on him with his wife. Now, guys, you know, that's a pretty funny role right there to play, especially as a director. But you know what? It fits well, and Travis is noticing these things. Travis himself is tripped out by Martin Scorsese. He's saying that, you know what, you know, he's referencing a lot of, you know, racial slurs, referencing how somebody lives there and is cheating with their, you know, wife. He's referencing how he's going to kill them both. And even Travis himself, he's really tripped out. He's like, man, you know, like, I'm picking up some crazy people. These people are crazy. And honestly, like, he's accumulating the feel and vibe of what the society is really like. Now, guys, what I love about the nature of Travis is we really get thrown into his nature where we don't really know his background. We don't really know his parents and where he came from. He just plays this role of somebody who's young, obviously wants to get his life in order and do his thing. And it seems that the life outside is really taking its toll on him. I mean, he's somebody who depends on taking people. He's constantly outside driving people. So his life and career is really meeting people and having them in his car. So he goes through some really trippy experiences with people. And therefore, guys, it leads us to the iconic haircut of Travis himself, Robert De Niro, where he does that mohawk. He shaves the sides, guys, keeps that mohawk right down the middle. And this is where Travis is getting pissed. We see him tripping out electors, politicians, their president himself. This is where Travis gets serious, guys. We're about maybe, you know, this is a 2-hour movie, so, you know, I would say we're about an hour and 20 minutes in. Travis shaves his head, starts to get very serious, has a conversation with Iris's dealer and pimp, and, you know, doesn't like him, has a bad confrontation with him. And eventually, guys, Travis is home. He goes crazy. He shaves his haircut. And if you guys are familiar with the movie Death Sentence, featuring Kevin Bacon, directed by James Wan, that movie right there, guys, really features an inspiration, I would say, from this movie. Now, this movie, guys, is what I'd say a vengeful movie. These characters right here, guys, they haven't killed or done anything personally to Travis, but he is somebody who is just driven to insanity, who at the same time sounds wrong and sounds like he's, you know, on the verge of psychoness, American Psycho. But guys, do not let that taint this. This is somebody who is trying to get rid of the scum of the earth, the toxic people, the pimps, the drug dealers, the people who are using other human beings as just scum of the earth. And unfortunately, you know, well, actually I can say fortunately, because Travis goes on a spree trying to get rid of those people. Now, guys, you know, unfortunately, Travis goes in there, he's really prepared. We get this iconic scene where, the iconic scene, guys, that we all know from Taxi Driver, where Travis is talking in the camera. He's, you know, doing references of trying to plan out his killing spree. He's talking to himself. He's trying to go ahead and get his weapons ready. He's working on his weapons from scratch, little traps going on. So cowboy kind of setups going on. So therefore, when Travis goes on his rampage, he's ready to go. Now, again, guys, he's getting his weapons set up. Travis eventually meets up with this, dealer who has weapons, who's not a drug dealer, but a weapon dealer. And Travis is buying guns from him, buys all kinds of handguns. Travis is getting him set up where he has a handgun come from his forearm. He has a knife, you know, attached to his, calf and stuff like that. So, you know, he has a bunch of weapons on him, goes on this spree. And like I say, guys, if you're familiar with Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon and James Wan, we get a very similar revenge scene. Now, guys, that movie is also a revenge movie. Taxi Driver is not a movie I would say necessarily is revenge, but more of a stand-up of a movie of a character who is standing up to society, who just can no longer hang, who's tired of the toxicity, who's tired of people just bringing this toxic, just energy, toxic, just chaos, toxic, literally, it's to the point where Travis, who is a good guy, is literally on the verge of destruction because of the chaos going on in the streets. Now, guys, if that is not life itself, I do not know what is. That is why I love the character of Travis. This is a character who is trying to do good with his life, but is getting altered, distracted, and is getting portrayed as this wrong human being, and who is eventually pushed to the urge, stands up for society, stands up for himself, stands up for Iris. And not only that, guys, we get this thank you note to Travis from Iris's grandparents, who, again, guys, Iris, played by Jodie Foster, is played by this younger girl. And Travis is such a hopeful character who, again, is going on this killing spree. He is killing people, but, guys, he is getting rid of the scum of society to the point where even Iris's grandparents were thanking him in the end, saying, hey, I want to thank you, Travis, for helping my daughter. I want to thank you for showing her, the good paths of life and things of that nature. She is doing well. Because of you, it seems that she has got her life back on track. And her grandparents, who are very on the elderly side, are thanking Travis for the sacrifices and the commitment and the stand-up he made to society, which very few people lack and want to commit to. I mean, everyone wants to be a hero, guys, but I mean, it's not about the hero status. It's just about standing up for what's right, doing what you feel like as a human being. And this is really what I would say a biography of just a good man pushed to the point of being a bad man. Now, guys, I mean, unfortunately, that is a society we live in. Some people are unhappy with themselves, who don't want to see others happy. I discuss a lot of that. If you want to hear a lot of that, guys, on Sleep Token. Sleep Token is a band who discusses a lot of that nature of people who want to see you down, people who get a kick out of your depression and disappointments. Now, there are people like that, guys, in life. And if you see the movie Taxi Driver, guys, which I'm sure you have if you're here, you understand the nature of Travis and what he brings to this film, guys. I mean, this, like I said, this is a movie who inspires myself, Trent Reznor, and obviously a classic from Martin Scorsese. Like I said, guys, he's directed films such as Departed, this one right here, I believe Goodfellas and things of that nature. And he's still doing films till this day, guys. Very creative director, very similar to what you get from Quentin Tarantino, but more on the mafia side and less dialogue, I'd say. Quentin Tarantino is very on the dialogue side, also very versatile. But with Martin Scorsese, he's very story oriented. He's very character developed. Not that Quentin Tarantino isn't, but Martin Scorsese really dives into that old school nature. I mean, it seems like he grew up with this. I mean, from my knowledge, guys, he had directed Goodfellas, and he even had his own mother play the role of Robert De Niro's mother, Joe Pesci's mother, and Ray Liotta's mother. I mean, when they're all having dinner, the mother, played by Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and things of that nature, was Martin Scorsese, director himself, his mother. So it seems that maybe he's grew up in this Italian nature of mafia-oriented, that life and such. So him and Robert De Niro really have this bond. R.I.P. to Ray Liotta, because it seems that him and Martin Scorsese really had this bond. Shout out to Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci, I love that dude, okay? This is the dude who has been in Home Alone 1 and 2, even though he isn't in Taxi Driver, but still, guys, Martin Scorsese and him, when it comes to Martin Scorsese, you can always expect some Joe Pesci and things of that nature. So I love Joe. And when it comes to Robert De Niro, this is a standout. This right here is what I would say his all-time classic. Now, guys, when usually actors are starting off, it takes them a long time to, eventually accumulate and establish that classic. But when it comes to Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro combining forces on this Taxi Driver right here, guys, it just really calls for an all-time classic, a go-to right here, guys. Yes, this is a film to deal with somebody on the verge of just rampage, on the verge of just going off and things of that nature. But you know what, guys? In the long run, still calls for a great film, a great, directorial film from Martin Scorsese himself, and everyone themselves, guys, starring, Jodie Foster and Harvey Keitel, and all kinds of features we get in this movie, guys, really just brings this film to life. I mean, this is a movie right here, guys, that is literally over 50 years old and still maintains the nature of just being impactful. And I would say literally more of an impactful movie than films that we get today and literally in the past decade and past decades itself. So if you guys are in the mood for an all-time classic, Martin Scorsese classic, and Robert De Niro classic, I would say throw in Taxi Driver. And also, guys, we get some beautiful saxophones in this movie. We get a really harmonic soundtrack. Now, even if you guys are a fan of this movie, let's say if you can't watch the movie, you're busy doing things, and I would even throw in the soundtrack, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this is a soundtrack that I've listened to back to back. This is a soundtrack that I vibed out to, very similar to Nine Inch Nails. And so we get a really vibey soundtrack that not only is very good to play on its own, but is a very vibey soundtrack that very fits with the movie. I mean, it gives it that nature of trying to give Travis that hopeful nature. And this being an old school classic, guys, it's always cool to have a classic movie with a classic soundtrack involved with it. So, with that being said, guys, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster, Harvard Cartel, classic movie, Taxi Driver. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. If you have seen it, please let me know what you think of this movie, guys. Let me know what else to discuss on the topics where we discuss movies, art, and etc. Guys, I've recently done rankings of Sleep Token. If you guys want to see those, I've done all their catalog from Sundowning to This Place Will Become Your Tomb to Take Me Back to Eden, and also the recent classic, Even in Arcadia. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on those, and also just did a ranking on The Strangers. So, guys, let me know what else to discuss on the topics. Try to suggest some horror and, just just classics of that nature. But other than that, guys, thank you for tuning in. And see you next time on The Topics. Deuces!